Okay, mics are hot.
Which means they're on.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Lampasona, would you please read the mission statement?
Absolutely. The mission of the Mineola Union Free School District is to inspire each student to be a lifelong learner, pursue excellence, exhibit strengths of character, and contribute positively to a global society.
Thank you. Now we'll take a moment of silent meditation. Please take this time to silence your phones. Okay, so we'll have the dais and introductions.
Andrew Casal, Assistant to the Superintendent for Business and Operations.
Catherine Fishman, Assistant Superintendent for People Personnel Services.
Stacy DeSillis, trustee.
Brian Whitman, trustee.
Cheryl Lampasona, trustee.
Mr. Talty is absent today because he had a work conflict, so I just want to let everyone know he's excused. And Margaret Ballantyne, president.
Michael Nagler, superintendent.
Matt Gavin, deputy superintendent.
And now I see it's time for the student organization report.
Yay.
Yay, we love these.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sia Zhang, and I'll be representing for tonight. To start off, report cards will be posted in Parent Portal on Friday, November 19th. We had several spirit days in the couple of past weeks of school. First was our Halloween costume day, then our Mineola Spirit Day on the first Friday of the month, red, white, and blue for veterans, and finally our wear blue for diabetes last Friday. Congratulations to our marching band and color guard programs on their wonderful season, as well as our girls soccer, boys soccer, and volleyball teams who made it to the playoffs. The girls and boys soccer team were also at the conference champions. We are looking forward to our new winter seasons that began on November 15th. Congratulations to Juliana Sosa and Maggie McMahon, who will continue their lacrosse careers as they sign to play in college next year. Congratulations to our newly elected 8th grade officers, President Mary Chestnut, Vice President Chloe Catalano, Secretary Leah Anzalone, Treasurer Aidan Paul, and Publicity Chair Michael Lampasona. Congratulations to our valedictorian Alvin Tsai and salutatorian Catherine Ahn. Congratulations to Isabella Calan and Jill Serrato, who were recognized by Senator Anna Kaplan at her Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. Congratulations to Vivek Patel, Gina Pastia, Julia Parado, Lindsay Parado, and Brianna Nelson, who will represent Mineola High School at the Junior Leadership Council at Cohen's Children's Hospital and Zucker Hillside Hospital. Congratulations to Julia Menovitz and Catherine Din, who were accepted to the Institute of Creative Programs Problem Solving at SUNY. They are the 1/10 of 1% in math of all students in Long Island. We had our first advisory and dream day last week, where we had our chance to connect and reconnect with our groups. We were also able to work on mission pathways as well as our digital portfolios, something we have developed for over 5 years. Our second annual Flag Field of Honor was installed for Veterans Day. We sold over 100 flags, and students from Ms. Stefani's classes chose a local charity, Cooking for Long Island Veterans, for the Veterans Organization sponsored this year, and had a beautiful ceremony on the 10th. During October, the Dignity Club helped with Bully Prevention Awareness Month. Each week, the club created and led a school-wide activity for students and faculty. The events included greeting students with at Art Revival with lollipops, inspirational quotes, a Take a Post-it, Leave a Post-it challenge, and inspiration words for others, and friendship bracelet making. The Honor Society and Tea Club are facilitating the Holiday Drive program that takes place in November and early December. The program will benefit local families throughout our district. If you're interested in adopting a family, please reach out to Mr. Musinesi at mmusinesi@mineola.k12.ny.us and Mrs. Misiagno at r.misiagno@mineola.k12.ny.us. 6 singers from Mineola High School have been accepted to the ACDA Eastern Division High School Honor Choir. These singers were in competition with the finest high school singers across 11 states that make up the Eastern Division of the American Choral Directors Association. In February, the selected singers and Dr. Messina, the choir director, will travel to Boston, Massachusetts for the ACDA Eastern Division Conference, where they will rehearse and perform with award-winning conductor Dr. Eugene Roberts of the University of Michigan. The following students will represent Mineola in Boston this February: Matthew Bishop, Bridget Cunningham, Isabella Golan, James Casey, Aidan Levin, and Alexis Panabianco. We are excited to present the comedy for our fall play in November 19th and November 20th, Neil Simon's Rumors. Tickets are available online and at our new online ticket website. We're asking all those who are interested in attending to purchase tickets online in advance of the show at mineolahs.booktix.com. Our program will automatically create distance between each party of tickets, reducing capacity in our theater. That's all for tonight.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. Any questions from the board?
No, just thank you for such a good and full report of so many great things. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Would any of the trustees like to make a report?
I'll just comment on, Brian and I tossed a coin and I won the coin toss, about how proud we were to watch the parade. The marching band marched in the New York City Veterans Day Parade this year. And it was so exciting to see, even though they didn't make TV, but watching it live and in person and seeing all of what went on before, right? All the veterans, all of the departments marching with their marching bands. It was really spectacular. And then to see them, well, to hear them first and then see the banner, it was, I know we always say we're so Mineola proud, but really, honestly, like we really, really were. It was really, really exciting, and the students did amazing. So,
The clip that was shared was really good because I was watching and they just kept showing the people on the T-Mobile float.
I know.
And I could see our band in the background and I was just like, move the camera, move the
the
camera.
T-Mobile was like right behind us, and
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
They were pink, and there was a lot of them, and but
Right.
I mean, it was so exciting to see them, and they just, they played "It's a Grand Old Flag" like I've never heard it before. Even though I heard it practiced the whole week before, it was still amazing. So it was really, really something special to see. So I'm so glad that they had this opportunity to actually do this. So, and that is my report. Happy Thanksgiving. And that is my.
I have a very brief report. I'm looking forward to the play tomorrow night. I can't wait to be back in the theater for a play. It'll be my first theatrical experience since the pandemic started. The PTAs have been very, very busy. I've gotten to a lot of the PTA meetings lately, and it's been nice to meet so many people on the Zoom meetings. I was very proud to see the band at the parade. I think that's a wonderful lesson for them to learn, to march with the veterans and see the veterans and all the generations of them. And I wanted to acknowledge Mrs. Fani for her tribute, second year, I think, in a row that she's done this, and it's a beautiful thing to see, and I think it teaches the kids in a very real way, like what it's all about. So thank her for that. And I'm so proud of all the many collections and drives that are going on to raise either funds or food or toys for people in need at the holiday season. The fact that 211 cartons of food got delivered to Corpus Christi's pantry this week is, I think, an amazing feat. And that just seems to be the start of the season, so I want to thank all the schools for doing those kinds of activities, because a lot of you know that my favorite part of the mission statement is serving the global society. So that's a great thing. I was very happy about the Diabetes Awareness Month activities, because that's something that's very, very important, near and dear to my heart. And I think a good thing for kids to learn about their classmates. So that was wonderful. And mostly what I wanted to say tonight is how thankful I am. I'm very thankful to be on this board. I'm very thankful to be the president of the board. I am so thankful for my fellow board members who have become friends and who are such good people to work with. And I'm thankful for our superintendent and our deputy, and for all of our administrators and staff and teachers who are here. Thankful to our parents, and most of all, thankful to our learners, because being part of this district is something that I think is something we're all very lucky to be. So I just wanted to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Well, that's not so easy to follow. I have a few things this evening. I too want to thank Ms. Sclafani. I think the Field of Flags is an awesome visual in front of the high school. This year I purchased one for my dad, and I took a video, so when I saw him this weekend, I said, hey, I got your new flag because the one outside is really bad. But he does display it at his home. And he grunted when I showed him the video, which for him is extremely high praise. So I just think it's a special event. I want to thank the high school administration for making it come to fruition, and I think it's a great annual event. And of course, it helps our servicemen, and each year it seems they're going to pick a different charity to go to. Rumors tomorrow night, excited for that as well. Still get tickets. Let's have hopefully have a full house for the 3 shows. I want to, we are in the process of developing the 2022-23 school calendar, which we typically approve in January. And this year I have a little dilemma in that snow days are no longer required to be accounted for because we're able to go virtual. We were able to do that this year, but they didn't make that ruling until after we adopted the calendar, so they're on the current calendar. Although I don't believe we're going to use them because we can go virtual. So I am asking the board's preference for next year. You don't have to answer me right now. You can think about it, whether or not we should include them in the calendar. The pros and cons. Many of our parents believe that a snow day is a rite of passage and the children should have a day off. I don't particularly subscribe to that, but I certainly understand it. The pro is you actually gain 2 more days in the school year, which can be used, for example, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, or to extend the winter holiday, or to extend Easter and Passover. So it's not as if we're adding more days or subtracting more days, we're just dispersing them differently. So I posed that question to you this evening. I don't need an answer, but I will show you 2 versions of calendars next meeting. One with them, one with 2 days, snow days built in, and one without. It also doesn't preclude us from for doing like half days like we did last year. And I thought that was a decent compromise. Wake up and go play outside in the morning. You're not staying out all day anyway because you get cold. And then things become less fruitful as the day goes. So we did school in the morning and play in the afternoon, right? So, but again, we don't need that answer now. I'm just raising it as a question. I'm going to ask Mr. Casal to go over. I asked him to just give the board and community an update on our capital projects, the monies we've expended and encumbered so far. We keep receiving setbacks with our plans, with the supply line and supply chain and prices in general. So I'll review that once he goes through what we've accomplished so far. Those of you that have seen Jackson recently have seen some decent progress. And I do have some pictures if you haven't. So, Mr. Casal. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you. Turn the clicker on.
Okay.
Hit the side of it. So that's on.
Thank you. Okay, so just here's a quick rundown of the capital projects that were included in our educational plan and budget last budget season as we were preparing for this year's budget. And you can see this extensive list here. The majority, starting with phase 2 of Jackson Avenue, the reconfiguration, cafeteria, kitchen, parking lot, retaining walls, sidewalks. And as Dr. Nagler alluded to, we're making some nice progress. I'll show you some photos in a moment. Phase 2B, we have had a begin construction of a field house, which we'll get to in a moment. Renovating student bathrooms, floors, and ceilings at Jackson Avenue. Phase 1 of the middle school project, demoing the gym, the balcony, the walls, the steel mezzanine, and some site work. Meadow Drive student bathrooms. The high school locker rooms, bathrooms, floors, and lockers. High school bathrooms in the hallway by the cafeteria. And then we added the high school roof repair due to the storm damage last spring. And as a reminder, we're still awaiting materials, insulation materials for that project. So here is photos taken yesterday. So we do have steel. Some steel has arrived. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for decking and joists. So that's going to be a few more weeks. Okay, but it's nice to see some progress. Here's a different vantage point from the playground wall, where the new playground will be in the front eventually. Here's a nice aerial shot with our drone of some of the parking lot. You can see the new addition in the background, and you can see the retaining wall on the edge of the property line. You can see the retaining wall. We have a few different shots here. Has the perma hedge finish. We will be adding some softscape and some plantings in the spring. Here's another shot of the retaining wall. And next week, beginning next week, we're actually going to be continuing the one retaining wall along the back property line. Okay, so the back wall will continue. Here's a nice shot of that. So this area here will be cleaned up with the things that are on our property. We're working very nicely with the neighbors. We're good neighbors, of course. And that project will begin next week, continuing this retaining wall.
Can you just go back one? So if you look at the slope of the property from the fence down to where the children are sitting in this shot, in order to put a full lacrosse and soccer field on this footprint, we need that sloped ground. That's why we're putting the retaining wall up. We literally gain almost 20 feet from the beginning of that slope to the back wall. And if any of you stop by the current retaining wall that you see in the picture, the top of that wall is at least 10 feet from the ground. So it's very deceiving how much land we're holding back from Marcellus Road. And the houses on Marcellus are literally 10 to 12 feet higher than the parking lot and ground level of the building. So, just fast forward to, so our original idea was to put a turf field, remove the playground, push back that sloped wall, and then it becomes big enough for a full soccer field and a full lacrosse field that we would turf. Now, the estimates that we received in March to put a house, a structure over the field were approximately $4 million complete. The estimates we received 2 weeks ago to do the same exact job were approximately $12 million. The availability or the lack of availability of steel in particular is driving cost to make it impossible to do this project anywhere near the budget. Now, we still are getting a field, that is for sure, but now we're starting to look at what are the other possibilities. So if you look at this picture that's up there and you picture a rectangle of a field, and I'll show you that in a moment, the plot of land to the north is pretty much wasted space. You go back, Chaminad's field house is with the solar panels that juts out. So we have this awkward piece of land that we've never really used other than children running around during recess. So Our new focus is, can we capture that piece in addition to the field and propose something scaled down from a field house, but also be valuable to our community, our phys ed, and our athletic department. So what we tentatively, go ahead, Andrew, have come up with is this. This is still a work in progress. I've spoken several times to Mr. Amatrano. We'll be meeting with the coaches. What this is showing is the property with the field. That field is lacrosse. The white lines are lacrosse. The yellow lines are soccer. It would be regulation for any of our levels to play on. I believe it will be primarily used by the middle school, after school, and obviously Jackson during school. And the red on the top is showing a two-tiered building that includes another basketball court and on a lower level a wrestling facility, since our wrestlers are relegated to a small space in the middle school outside the gym, and the worst smelling spot in the entire district, the basement of the high school. And if you ever travel down there, you would remember it, because it really is not. They love it, but I don't know anyone else that does. So it's a facility that, of all the sports, Mr. Maritano recommended it, and I agree. It really is. We have upwards of 70 kids that participate in wrestling. It's one of our biggest sports, 7, 12. And the facility doesn't really match the participation. So that building alone in the red, all encompassed with the bathrooms and a lobby and the concrete work, is probably close to $4 million right now, pricing it right now. So from March, where we had a building covering the entire field, where for the same price now we have a building. So it really is a moving target. So I'll come back to that once we go over some numbers, so go ahead, Andrew.
Sure. So, looking at the projects that were discussed, again, in the ed plan and budget, we set aside $13 million in our transfer to capital. Just as a reminder, again, we added $580,000 through board action in July due to the emergency roof repair. So 13,580 of capital funds, and so far we've spent and/or encumbered, of course meaning set aside through a purchase order, about $8.6 million thus far. So leaving us with about $4.9 million remaining as of today. Again, that's not including the roof. That money has not yet been encumbered, since we're waiting for those insulation materials. So this is where we stand today with that $13 million transfer.
So covered in the 8.6 is the entire Jackson Avenue project, minus any change orders that may happen, which we don't anticipate at this time. It also includes the retaining wall, which will begin next week. So to pause on that, we will still have access to the playground and the field. We'll be carving a section out for construction vehicles to move in and out off of Sayville, away from kids. And they'll be able to do the work, and children will be able to use the playground and the field. We are trying to keep a timeline of getting this work completed. We happen to get a good price for winter work. The contractors were hungry to do this, and there's no supply line problem with concrete. So that's readily available, and we're able to do this. So the remaining money, and the other thing I mentioned, that the middle school project went to state ed today. So we filed that today. The middle school project will have to be done in phases, because we still need to use the building. So the phase 1 will be the entirely new gym behind the existing gym. And the tree, I remind her, that tree in the back is coming down. I know people are gonna yell at me when we actually do it, but I've been saying it for quite a while now. That tree will come down and a new gymnasium will be put in that footprint. The new gymnasium that also includes team locker rooms for when our 8th grade comes back, bathrooms facility in those locker rooms, a new elevator, a new staircase, all in an envelope that doesn't penetrate the building. That estimate is 4.3, which we can pay for now from this money. So the first phase in the middle school, we think we have covered. We will bid that hopefully in the spring. We're targeting March. It normally takes a month to bid, so we're hoping to have solid numbers before we adopt the budget. But as of right now, we believe we can afford that project with the remaining 13 million, which is what we planned for. So in the next budget, what we're earmarking is the turf field at Jackson, because by that time, the playground should be complete and we're able to take over that whole field. Phase 2 of the middle school, phase 2, it would include the new kitchen, the new cafeteria, new locker rooms for phys ed, new bathrooms for phys ed, and the completion of the fitness room. And also whatever we need to do for Synergy to become SED compliant. A word about Synergy, we expect the closing of that building to be on December 3rd. Once the closing is finished, we can then apply to SED to recognize the building as part of the district. And we'll have to send plans of usage up and get that approved before we can occupy it. So there are a few more steps. Obviously, the design component of what we're filing with SED that we'll begin to work on once we close. We also have tenants in that building that'll be there until February, and the ATM is there. So we still have some work before we fully take over the space.
How long do we think SED would take to recognize the building?
Well, it depends on how elaborate we get with what we want to do with the space.
Okay.
It's not a space designed for children, so there are going to be some compliance issues we have to address, and means of egress, and fire alarms, and things of that nature, which obviously we want to do.
Right.
So I would guess that when you send the project up now, it's a 2-month, 3-month. The closer you get to the summer to send the project up, the longer the lead time gets,
Sure.
because more and more people are applying across the state, and things get backlogged. So we're hoping the timing works. So that's kind of a look ahead. I remind the board and the community, we presented these as phased projects. So in the very nature of a phased project, we don't have the complete budget for it. We're doing it in pieces, and then we're planning for the next piece in the next budget. The advantage to that is you get things done quicker, but not only do you get them done quicker, the approval process and the planning is much smoother. The middle school will be a pain in the neck because we can't abandon the old gym until the new gym is built and children have access to the new gym from the building. And then there's a lot of work to convert the current gym into a cafeteria with bathrooms and locker rooms and a kitchen. So it's a long process that we can't lose functionality of the space as we do it. But we're on it. So happy to answer any questions about what was presented. Did you have another slide there, Andrew? No. You had it, right? Jackson, they'll be working on the cinder block walls starting next week, which is probably a 2-week process until the decking comes. So we're moving And Jackson's a great example where we had to pay more money to get the steel faster, and we had to modify the steel to use available steel to make the project happen. If we waited for the way it was designed, it would have been 8 more months. So it is a moving target, and I don't have to tell, if any of you have gone to buy something for a repair in your home, I went and bought some Romex cable the other day, and it was, sticker shock was an understatement. So we're delivering on budget as best we can. We're really not over budget with any of these projects. I think we if I have to say, maybe about 300,000 in Jackson, but those change orders were in line with the scope that we were doing. So I'm pretty pleased with the way things are moving.
When you said you had to change the steel, what did you mean?
The decking comes in certain lengths to span the joist the way they were designed. So when you shorten the length of the steel, you have to put a support piece to hold the seam. So we had to create more seams and more steel supports for those seams. Pretty much the whole length of the roof. So that drove the price. But if we tried to wait for the 40-foot sections.
But it's not a safety.
No.
The retaining wall, how it is now, it's gonna continue as if you were going straight, or it's going like further towards?
We're only going to build one retaining wall by the field,
the total-
so it'll be farther back. One large wall, which will end up padding because it will be very close to the field. So we'll pad that entire wall the length of the field.
Oh. And that green fence on top by our neighbors on Marcellus, that was us that added that?
We did the perma hedge there, and we will continue that. So
That's very
we'll have
nice.
one uniform look the whole length of the property with the fence and the hedge on top and the textured wall the whole way. May stop a little because we're going to put padding there, but the visual look when it's all done, because we are going to add plantings on the tiered wall by the school. We can't do that now because of the weather, so I think when it's all said and done and all the softscape goes in, Jackson will look completely different from what it did a year ago.
Will the pad, oh, I'm sorry,
No,
go ahead.
Your turn. I'll take 10.
Will the padding only be up for events, or will it?
No,
is it
it'll be permanent. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be permanent.
The projected house with the new idea, like the entrance is that still in the works, and would there be like a different entrance, or we haven't even encountered that? The one in the
There'll
far
be
back.
there'll be an entrance from Sayville,
Ah,
and there'll be probably match the columns that we already put up. The brick columns will match those to make a little grander entrance off of Sayville, and obviously Jackson Avenue children are going to be using that regularly, so we'll have access from the school to the spot.
Okay.
I'm glad to see something for the wrestling team, because there's a lot of kids, and we haven't done anything. That's a sport we kind of, I feel like we've not taken good care of, so.
Well, I don't know if I say that,
Facility,
but
well,
I said, well,
facilities wise, I mean.
you know, the upgrades of facilities are I think anything we put there will get a lot of use by the schools and the community.
Right.
That field certainly, I think some of our local teams are salivating at the prospect of another turf field to pull permits on for use. So overall, I'm a little disappointed we weren't able to deliver the field house, but I got over that. We regrouped, and we're proposing something again that is more than we have, and certainly better than we have. And I didn't forget about the baseball field for those baseball parents.
You weren't gonna ask.
I will have a solution for that later in the year, I think.
And I think the problem will be sort of solved with complete fencing, but what do cats think of turf? Do they not like it? I mean, because right now that back corner with the baseball field is a litter box almost.
I know the geese don't, so I
Okay.
have no idea about cats. I would imagine they don't care where they defecate, but
No.
I'm not an expert on that, but, yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But new fencing should solve.
And the
a lot of
retaining
them.
wall, I would think once that wall is there, I do believe that they come in through yards, so if there's a retaining wall back there, if you've never experienced the Jackson Avenue Fields, consider yourself lucky. So I do think with the retaining wall would defer all sorts of animals coming.
Okay, I don't know, cats jump,
Yes.
so, they're pretty agile animals. Short of doing what we're doing, I don't know how we solve the problem, and,
You put up a building.
you know, one of the biggest issues we have on that property is the growth of the trees is out of control on both properties. We had it to a minor extent to the ones we've already taken down, but as we go farther and farther toward, in north, the trees are really invasive neighbors on our property and vice versa. So remedying that is gonna be interesting. But we shall see. It's gonna start soon.
I also think it's very cool that we're gonna have 3 turf fields.
Yes.
That's a great thing for the community and our students to have 3 turf fields, you know, spread out throughout the district, so that's a good thing.
That is my report this evening.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go to Resolution 39. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the side letter of agreements between the negotiating representatives of the Mineola Union Free School District and the negotiating representatives of the Mineola Union Free School District Clerical Secretarial Employees Association of the individuals listed herein, and authorizes the Board President to execute the agreements on behalf of the district effective December 1st, 2021. There are 3 people who are named. May I have a motion? Brian? Seconded by? Cheryl, okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, I can speak to, this is really the lack of civil service exams that have been given in the pandemic has caused major headaches in hiring people. So these are all provisional promotions of people we know and we know the work that they
Mhm.
currently do, but we just have some agreements for them passing the exam and coming off a list, fallback rights, et cetera, et cetera.
Great, okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, Linda?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Resolution 40. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Mineola Union Free School District hereby accepts the corrective action plan for the 2021 audited financial statements by Nowraki Smith, and hereby instructs the Assistant to the Superintendent for Business and Operations to file such a plan with the New York State Education Department Office of Audit Services. May I have a motion? Stacy? Seconded by Brian? Okay. And this is what we have.
There's an external audit correction action.
Okay, good. Any questions? Linda?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 41. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Mineola Union Free School District hereby accepts the corrective action plan for the 2021 financial condition management audit received by the New York State Office of State Controller, and hereby instructs the Assistant to the Superintendent for Business and Operations to file such a plan with the New York State Education Department's Office of Audit Services. May I have a motion? Cheryl? Seconded by Stacy. Okay.
This is the cap for the state audit.
The state audit. Any questions? Linda?
All in favor?
Aye. Okay. And that brings us to the consensus agenda, Resolution 42. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the consensus agenda items J1A1 through J3D1 as presented. May I have a motion, please? Brian, seconded by Cheryl?
Yep.
Okay. So we have several things here.
So raise a point, Kathy Zito, longtime clerical at the middle school. Before that, PPS, right? PPS, has decided to retire.
Ah,
We certainly miss her.
Yeah.
This is a couple that we had Audrey a couple weeks ago, and now we
Yeah.
have Kathy.
Yeah.
These are people that I've known for 21 years, and fabulous, salt of the earth, and always put our kids first. So
Yes, very good people. Sorry to see her
congratulate
go.
them in retirement.
Yes. I just wanted to point out some of the things. We're approving the trip for the high school honor choir to Boston that our student report mentioned. And we're very happy that Long Island University still works with the AGP program and gifted program. So good stuff on the agenda again. So thank you all for all that hard work. Any questions? No? Linda?
You have a motion?
Oh, is there an amendment?
There is an amendment. If I can find my sticky note. Sorry.
That's okay.
We have to amend
Oh.
the robotics stipend number,
Oh, okay.
which will be located on page 5D, number 3.
Okay,
The amount should be 1503.
1503. Okay. Very good. So can somebody just move that?
I will.
Cheryl? Okay. And seconded, Brian? Okay. So can we approve the amendment first? Linda?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we go back to the whole consensus resolution. All right. Now, Linda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And that brings us to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. This evening we have the entire high school team, admin team, joining us to do a little presentation about what's going on at the high school from not only a data perspective, but from a human perspective. So I invite Dr. Smith and his team, and he can introduce his team. Dr. Smith's dragging a little this evening, so let's see if we can get a little animation in there.
Rough go.
Really?
Yeah. Only me. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the Board of Ed, Dr. Nagler, and the rest of the central office team for having us here this evening. I'll introduce my left, your right, Jenny Fagan, Heather Dvorak, Lisa Downey, and Wade Brozick, new to our team this year, who have really helped us to transform teaching and learning at the high school over the past 7 years now. Year 7 now. And also not to forget the challenges that we all faced last year. Coming out of the pandemic, sometimes we forget about all of the challenges that our community continues to face as we get back to our normal. But it is great to have students in the building this year. It is great that our events are coming back. It is great to see kids on the sports fields and on the stages and participating in clubs and activities. And seeing a full school come back every morning is really nice to see. So, slide 2, this was our senior sunrise. That's back. So in the background is all of our seniors with all smiles on their faces, as seniors often do. And this visual representation and presentation this year focuses on last year's results, as well as a future-focused framework that focuses on these 4 aspects. We look at the programs we continue to develop with an eye on our future and an increased partnership with Synergy, creating a nimble environment where students can work in a synchronous as well as an asynchronous environment. So all of our staff, and I see it on Maugie's table over there, has been given the book on grading, and over 25 of our educators are engaged in a Voxer book study right now, where we're lucky to include Susan Bloom, who is the editor of that book, in. We continue to raise the bar, challenging our students with real-world learning opportunities while supporting our students along their high school journey. From in-class experiences that foster engagement to mission pathways, digital portfolios, and research projects that promote student agency, we're Mineola proud of how our students are making connections and acquiring real-world skills. We're proud of our continued focus on SEL with the addition of our University of Chicago partnership, Wellness Week, and our connection to the Behavioral Health Center at Northwell. We're also proud of our special education teachers who are increasing the agency of our students with disabilities, involving them not only in the reflection on their learning at the end of the year, but their progress monitoring along the way as well. There's so much that I wrote a lot down because there's so much going on. Our AP Computer Science Principles program for all, as well as our partnership with Nassau Community College that provides students with an on-campus experience, as well as an in-school EKG certification program, along with our growing relationships with LIU and the expansion of on-your-own opportunities for dual-enrolled coursework. We're ensuring that all students are college and career ready. Couple of anecdotes. Lucia, who spoke to you earlier, was one of the students who created the Asian American Club. And we have 3 student-created clubs this year that, again, afford our students to develop their passions as well as their leadership skills. Also, just actually on my way here, I got a text message from Maria Navarra about our Key Club and how our students, specifically Natalie Lazewski, one of our juniors, wrote a $2,000 grant opportunity and won the grant from Kiwanis for our collection, our holiday collection drive. So, you know, certainly our kids are now writing grants and receiving them. So if that's not student agency, I don't know what is. We are not going unrecognized either. We have grown our seal of biliteracy program over the past 5 years, added a computer science honor society, and U.S. News has ranked us as one of the best high schools in the state and country for 2 years in a row, placing us in the top 23rd percent in the state and 14% nationally. And just, I don't know if it's anecdotally, but just the other day, we had the St. John's on the spot, one of our first on the spot admissions days, and I get a call at the end of the day from Liz Turner, one of our counselors, who said that the St. John's rep, who's been coming to us for the past 15 years, commented about the caliber of our students. So, you know, again, this is, you know, certainly a proud accomplishment for us, and, you know, when you hear it from an outside, you know, we certainly know as community members, board members, and administrators, but when you hear it over and over again from outside people, you know, it's very validating for how wonderful our students are. So I am going to turn it over to Mrs. Fahey.
Everybody, good evening. Just going to lower this a little bit. Nice to see everybody. So, I have to use the clicker. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about social emotional learning at the high school. We have a variety of programs. This year, as you know, we have our partnership with the Northwell Behavioral Health Center. That partnership also provides some professional development for our PPS staff, as well as community outreach and not professional development, but parent workshops. We are planning our Wellness Week, as Dr. Smith mentioned, which is going to be a time where students are able to create a wellness toolkit, and they're going to be going through their physical education classes and walking away with tangible things that they can do to help reduce stress and anxiety. So an advisory, which is also listed here, will be working on creating a digital toolkit for wellness, and then when we get back from Thanksgiving, they'll be able to work on a physical toolkit for wellness in a proactive way. So when we talk about students that need support from the Behavioral Health Center versus students that maybe need some proactive measures. We're doing Challenge Day again this year. We did that 2 years ago, right before the pandemic closed us down, and it was an amazing experience. Our seniors right now were the group that did it 2 years ago, and where they were actually asking us to do it again. So we're really proud to bring that back. It was a really powerful experience. We continue with advisory, we continue with our guidance visits to each grade level, and we're also partnering with University of Chicago for Cultivate and Elevate. We also have a series of assemblies, which are sponsored by Cohen's Children's Hospital. This year, the assemblies were on the dangers of drug and alcohol abuse, specifically teaching children about the Good Samaritan law, so that as they get older, when they're in college, if they're making certain decisions, if a friend gets in trouble, they know that they can reach out for help, and that's the most important thing, is to get help. We also will have assemblies later on this year on mental health awareness. Last year, we had assemblies on body image and social media, as well as drug use and alcohol abuse. We continue to always do our choices and consequences assembly for our seniors who are getting on the road so they can make good decisions while driving. So this is the partnership with University of Chicago. All of our students took a survey in the end of October where they were sharing their feelings about their classes, focusing on the school environment and classroom environment, as well as their relationships with the staff in the building. So when we get the report back, or we have the report, we're going to be reviewing this in Building Culture Committee and as an administrative team to talk about what we see in this survey, what patterns we see, and how that can inform our practices. So at this point, I think everybody on our board is very familiar with our college and career readiness strands. We're really proud of the 4 opportunities we have for our students. The computer science strand, new this year, our seniors are going to Nassau Community College for their on-campus experience. They are loving this experience. They've had really positive feedback. They are taking 2 classes this fall, and they have a wonderful professor. We actually have a graduate who's also at Nassau this year, who happened to find out that our seniors are at Nassau and reached out to tell me how he's so excited that, you know, the class is on the campus, and he knows who their professor is, and they have such a great professor, and to just kind of thank us all for supporting these programs, because he had a great experience, and he's glad to see that the kids are still experiencing this. So that's what's new for computer science. Advanced manufacturing, we continue our partnership with SUNY Farmingdale, and we're working with the industry certifications with OSHA and AutoCAD. Healthcare, we're still doing the partnership with SUNY Farmingdale. They're getting a course in healthcare studies, and they're doing their EKG technician certification. This is our 2nd year with that program. Last year we did it in the end of the senior year, and we moved that up to earlier in the senior year and built in some support with one of our health and physical education teachers to kind of give them more training in the field so they can be successful on that certification exam. That PE and health teacher, Tim Wineclaw, is also a personal trainer. So in the spring, he will work with the students on what they need for a personal training certification. They also will get their family living credit as part of this strand. In entrepreneurship, this is a full year high school course. There's a partnership with our Fab Lab, the student-run store, Must Buy Tanks. They'll be doing their pop-up shops. And we have the Delphi Apprentice program, and of course, our guest speakers. Oh, in addition to all of this, we also have, as Dr. Smith mentioned, our OYO on your own partnerships with LIU Post. And that's going to be an opportunity even for our learners at Synergy to have these asynchronous opportunities where they can be taking challenging college level courses. And the students can access those on your own courses on the OYO platform, and our computer science teachers are supporting those efforts. So this is the participation rate for all of the strands that we have here. And if we include our CDOS program, which doesn't have college credit, but it is one of our strands preparing students for life after high school, 93.8 or 97.4% of our students are enrolled in one of these 6 programs that we have. So there truly is something for everybody. So this is a little bit more detailed. You can see year to year how our strands have been populated. The college and AP percentages are inclusive of those computer science, healthcare, and manufacturing programs there. This slide we were really excited to add. So this is our AP and college course participation for 9th through 11th grade. You can see there, the 9th grade, we have 93% of the class enrolled in an AP class. That's our AP Computer Science principals. And our AP Computer Science principals teachers are doing a lot to support those students. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, so I'll let Lisa talk to you a little bit more about that. But you can see a huge jump from 9th to 10th grade. And then as the students get older, and there's so many classes for them to take that offer college or AP credit, we anticipate that number will probably get even higher. And with that,
Good evening, everybody. So as we know, Mineola High School is not just about academics. We look to augment the academics to make well-rounded, involved, and active community members. So building off the success of last year's Dream Days, Mineola had its first Dream Day on October 22nd, and during the monthly drop routine, Explore and Achieve the Mission Day, students engaged in challenges aligned to the district mission and curiosity challenges on a variety of topics, as well as the ability to dive into a topic of their own choosing. So students explore challenges in pursuing excellence, contributing positively, strength of character, goal setting, and curiosity. The challenges in the first 4 of those bundles typically require students to submit evidence to show that they've accomplished and completed it throughout their involvement of the school day and extracurricular activities. And each challenge bundle has required challenges and a bank of many optional challenges that students can choose from that best fits their accomplishments and interests. So students earn a mastery badge each year because the challenges are dependent on their grade level. The teacher-created curiosity challenges cover a wide range of topics, and we continue to add new challenges based on student and teacher feedback. Students spend some time during Dream Day actually working and completing those challenges, as opposed to just collecting the evidence to show what they've done during their school day and extracurricular activities. So the Mission Pathway challenges address the non-cognitive or soft skills that we want students to build alongside their academic abilities. So for example, several challenges have students set a variety of goals and show how they have met them. To pass the challenge, students will share their goal, how they met it, and how they progressed there. To set and successfully meet a goal, one has to believe the work has value to them. They have to be able to organize their time, persevere, and show grit. The challenge bundle for strength of character addresses the concepts of self-awareness, relationship skills, working on decision-making by having students participating in counseling sessions, working on mindfulness strategies, supporting and helping new or younger students in school. So all of these challenges are seed ideas that students then use when building their digital portfolios. So when they get stuck, they don't know what to put in their digital portfolio, they can go back to the Mission Pathways and show the successes and things they've accomplished. And we can see that on our first Dream Day, on October 22nd, in a span of 2 periods, there's only 2 periods they were working on these, they did 1,611 challenges. So moving on to the digital portfolio, to showcase their work in high school, students create a digital portfolio. A student's digital portfolio is a living document from 8th grade through 12th grade. Students work on their portfolios during the designated time during Dream Day, and their the pages include an About Me, an Activities page, Best Works, and Achievements page. During the week leading up to a Dream Day, 2 subjects are designated as classes in which students are identifying and curating their best work to put into their portfolios. Knowing that a best work in October of your 8th grade is not going to be your best work in your senior year, students constantly update their portfolios as needed, but also have the opportunity to reflect on the growth throughout the year and over the course of their whole high school career. At the end of the year, the students present their portfolios in the grade level advisory, and each student will provide feedback, and then they reflect on their portfolio. The culminating digital portfolio can be used to augment college applications, job interviews, or whatever post-high school plans have been. So moving on, there couldn't be a more appropriate name for Project Success if you're not familiar with Project Success. It's a program aimed to give students extra support in a one-on-one format and allows for the formation of trusting, strong relationships between a mentor and teachers. So students are paired with a mentor, where each teacher mentor has about 4 to 5 students. Teacher mentors check in weekly to support students, helping set up plans on how they can organize their workload, advocate for themselves, as well as giving academic support when needed. Mentors meet during times of work for the student. The mentors foster communication between parents, teachers, guidance, and myself, updating on that academic progress, attendance issues, and any other factors that might come into play. So students who were in Project Success last year typically continue. Counselors, teachers, psychologists can reach out if there's a student on their radar that they want to have looked at, and then we will look over on their progress and their attendance, review it to see if they fit in Project Success. sometimes if they don't fit into project success, there might be less intensive supports that can help them. So just looking at some of the data from last year, so in the 2020 to 2021 project success, there was 54 students, 18 of those were seniors, and there were 10 mentors supporting them. From semester 1 to semester 2, there was a 36% increase in daily attendance. 67% of the students in project success earned credits toward their graduation requirements. So for every credit-bearing course for graduation, they passed and got credit for all of those. And 100% of the seniors that were in it graduated. So this data shows that project success is a success and it has an impact on student achievement and belonging. Students know that there's a mentor out there that's looking out for them, and they know that if they need help, they can reach out to them. So I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Downey to talk about science research.
Hi everyone, good evening. Skip a little. Wade had his own notes. Okay. One more. Sorry. So we have had many new adjustments to the science research curriculum this year. In the past, science research was only open to honor students. This year, we allowed any 8th or 9th grader to take science research as an elective. This is also the first year we have a research course for 10th graders, which is focused on engineering-based principles. Nicole Colella, Adriana Guidetti, and I worked on the curriculum over the summer, which includes engineering principles such as statics and strengths and properties of material. The class is currently working on a project for the Source America competition. The goal of this competition is to create innovative workplace technology for people with disabilities. Curriculum in the early grades continues to be skill-based and is now further aligned with competitions. Students focus their independent or group project on specific skills learned in class. In 8th grade, student research is focused on the effects of different variables on small organisms. In 9th grade, students are focusing on engineering skills for their projects. And in 10th grade, students are completing social science-based projects, if they're not in the class with the engineering principles. These experiences prepare students for their independent and more complex works as 11th and 12th graders. Our goal for 11th graders is to have them work in professional labs within the field mentors. Last year, Nicole Colella and I pushed into all science research classes to discuss the importance of summer research. We also shared with families and students a guide of summer research course offerings. Our counseling team joined these classroom visits in order to be able to support students with their applications, and we plan to continue this work again in January. Additionally, we added parent information sessions in the fall to give parents a background on the program and share summer research opportunities with them. AP Computer Science Principles. So as Jenny mentioned, all our 9th graders are now taking AP CSP. We do have about 13 students that are not in AP CSP, and that includes new entrants, some beginner Ls, and students with significant disabilities. This class meets for one period every other day, and the computer science teachers have developed a support schedule for students both during the day and after school to help students complete assignments and address learning gaps as students work through the ODO pathway. We are continuing our team meetings in order to identify and address common challenges and to streamline best teaching practices. We also use this time to identify students at risk and add them to support time. Our teachers are continuing professional development with the Kiddo team as well as College Board AP mentors. We are also continuing Coding Fridays in Tech 8 to ensure that next year's students are also prepared for the AP course. MathSpace. So as in the past, our teachers are continuing the momentum with MathSpace. Teachers are using MathSpace to track and monitor student progress by standard and address any learning gaps. Teachers often reassign tasks to students, which allows students to learn from their mistakes and improve their skills. I'm going to turn it over to Heather.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We'd like to share with you our NWEA results from last school year. So our 8th and 9th graders take the NWEA exam. This assessment offers insight on the student's ability in understanding key ideas and details when reading, understanding language, craft, and structure, and their vocabulary use and acquisition. So if you look to the right of the chart here for 8th grade, we, over the course of our fall, winter, and spring administration, our 8th graders made growth. It appears incremental from 222.3 to 222.4, but you'll notice we remained above the norm RIT throughout the school year, and at this level in the upper grades, it's typical for the growth to appear small and incremental. And in 9th grade as well, we made growth over the course of the year from the fall to the spring from 224.3, again above the norm RIT, ending in 225.1. Our teachers in English, social studies, and science use Actively Learn to foster our students' metacognitive skills while reading. Over 103,000 questions were answered on this platform over the course of last school year. So this platform allows teachers to track students' thinking, their understanding as they're reading. Teachers can choose various question types to ask students from multiple choice, open-ended, matching. They can connect the questions to our learning standards, and they can also select the readings from a robust library. Various articles, current event articles that are updated every day by the platform, and a number of texts, from classics to current novels that they can also read. Teachers can customize these texts, so Actively Learn can prescribe a text. A student can be presented with a reading that a teacher can just click a button, assign it to a student, and it has questions in there for students to answer. But the teachers can customize it. They can also provide supports in the reading, so they can add places where they prompt students to annotate. They can add hints to students about their questions. They can provide like extra help, hints, and they can also block out the text, so they can chunk the text for students who might need the text presented in smaller snippets. Additionally, the students as the user can highlight, look up vocabulary, or if they need it, translate the text right there in front of them. So far this year, over 16,000 questions have been answered on this platform so far. We're now going to turn to graduation data. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Smith.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. So again, while our graduation rates have been consistently high, our advanced Regents diploma rate and our CELA biliteracy numbers continue to climb. This is a result of our partnership with our counselors, our teachers, and the administrators, with a constant focus on everyone can achieve at high levels when given the appropriate time and supports. Hence, living our mission and truly embodying the tenets of college and career readiness. This is our graduation data for students with disabilities. And again, while Nassau County and state benchmark data is not available yet, we continue to guarantee graduation for our students with disabilities, but also provide them with opportunities to exceed minimum state standards. Should be noted that the accommodations that the Regents makes for many Regents exams, are only done for the 5 core Regents exams. So they, basically are saying that those are only the 5 that we expect students to do. Again, we don't believe that here. And the graduation data for our English language learners, they continue to thrive as well as we ensure graduation for them, even as most of them enter our school system late and often have interrupted education. This is once again largely due to the result of their strong work ethic, our growing bilingual staff, after school and Saturday academies, double periods and support periods, and scaffolded supports. As Mrs. Fahey mentioned earlier, we truly have a program for everyone tailored to their needs. Our post-graduation plans, we've seen a subtle decrease in the number of students attending 2- and 4-year colleges right after high school. While we don't have the longitudinal data yet, we are going to add a question to our exit survey and alumni surveys to gather information. Anecdotally, we do see that some of our students are taking a gap year and either going straight to work or working in order to save for college. Our armed services numbers remain low, although in a small school, a few students can account for a larger percentage change. Our AP and college course enrollment remains high, and we continue to look for opportunities for students to challenge these courses through our open enrollment, but more than that, matching college-level courses to student interests. We are increasing dual enrollment, on-your-own opportunities to expand possibilities, and aligning our goals with Synergy as well. We are also looking to add some dual enrollment courses in the business area for next year as well, aligning our business strand to the others. Over the past 7 years, we've had a 40% increase in students taking AP courses. With the exception of this pandemic year, we have consistently raised the achievement of those students as well, increasing the percent and total number of students passing these rigorous exams. This year, with the addition of AP Computer Science principles, we continue to embrace the notion that our students can achieve at high levels. With a course we believe is important for all students to have foundational skills in creative development, iterative process, data computational thinking, algorithms, responsible computing, innovations, and more. And we do have a lot of fun, so there is, that's from Halloween.
That was from last week.
We usually dress that way on Fridays, just saying.
Yeah,
Thank you all.
Lisa's vertical is not great. Yeah, that's good.
Wade was the most into it. You could see we put him in the center.
Anytime I get to wear the mushroom hat.
Oh, break down so quickly. All right, so I have just a couple of comments and observations before the board. One, Whitney mentioned several times this partnership with Synergy. You know, and Synergy is going to grow and develop. A lot of it's based on the work we've done over the last 4 or 5 years, specifically with the strands and the experiences outside of the classroom associated with those strands, whether it's being on campus at Nassau Community College or doing the EKG program for credit or the Must Buy Stangs and running an entrepreneur online program. Those are the kind of opportunities we want to kind of make drop in for everyone associated with Synergy. You know, we struggle with, we're a small high school, so those strands, you can't really have huge numbers in all of those strands, but you may have a lot of interest in components of those strands. So we build programs for smaller groups, but we can expand on the experiences for more kids. And that's one of the underlying themes of Synergy. Portfolios, we continue to grow our portfolios. I love to see what we're doing. I actually asked one of our seniors to send me one the other day because I wanted to just get a feel for what they look like, and Mr. Morrison was very cooperative and with a little nudging, I think. But you know, it's impressive to see what kids think is their best work, what they find as a glimpse into their career in school. And, you know, agency, we keep talking about this word agency, and it really is evident when you're responsible for presenting yourself as opposed to an adult doing it for you. And we're about to embark on something called Mastery Transcripts in our middle school and Synergy to further that combination of grades and experiences. You know, Wade talked about the mission pathways. Those are all badges. Those are kids submitting badges. They're not submitting it to be assessed. They're submitting it to be recognized as doing something that isn't graded. It isn't anything but, hey, I did this thing. So, and within the mission and the vision of what we're trying to get kids to do. So, another aspect of Synergy will be how do we reconcile assessing children in what they know while leveraging the badging concept that we start as early as 4-year-olds. There are appropriate places for 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds to do it as well. And one last comment, I hear a lot of people comment about our high school and the rigor of our high school and the numbers of our high school. And you can take any stat you want and slant it. I don't know how you could watch this presentation and ever step foot in our high school to say that it's nothing but spectacular. And it's a lot of hard work by many, many people. But one example I'll give you is this AP, this U.S. World and Report number is only based on AP exams. If you have a dual enrollment program, it doesn't count. So I don't know if they're in cahoots with the College Board, but only the College Board creates something that's worthwhile for U.S. World Report to judge a school on. And it's based on participation. It's based on how many kids in a single grade take an AP course. That's it. So we're going to beat them at their own game because every student is taking AP computer science principles in 9th grade, but that's not why we're doing it. But it's, I think more appropriately, we laid down a challenge to the high school administration, the high school teachers, to students themselves, that computer science is important in the world of work and the world they're going to go into. So here's the gauntlet. We're really going to challenge you. We're going to take an everyday class and we're going to make it every other day. It's an AP class, so we're going to give that in 9th grade. And we dare you to pass it. And they rise to the occasion. We'll give them all the supports they need. We'll give them extra time. We'll give them extra resources with daily check-in. We'll give them asynchronous learning. But we push them and the adults to reach a bar that we've set. In absence of that, what were they going to do? The alternative years ago was a course we called Exploring Computer Science that was 10 years old. And the rigor of that course was not very difficult. It was a graduation requirement, but it wasn't very difficult. We've done this time and time again. We did it with 8th grade algebra in the 8th grade. We've done it with challenging with dual enrollment. We've done it with now AP CSP. And our kids will meet the bar. That's what schools should be. It's not how many kids get a 4 on it. It's how many kids complete the coursework and get valuable learning from the subject.
You heard him say it, right?
I get passionate about it. I get jazzed on this one.
I'm a witness.
And by the way, also, your ENL students, we're not going to give you any accommodations because College Board doesn't afford ENL students any accommodations on this exam. So certainly not a fair thing. Certainly something we're exploring, but it's not right. Just an anecdote about the digital portfolios. So Mike mentioned seeing Brendan's digital portfolio, but I had the opportunity, and it was total happenstance. I was observing one of the counselors a couple of weeks ago, walked into her session. It was a college application session. They were on the Common App, and the student who was sitting there, she made sure to mention to Ms. Bamonti, I need a spot to submit my digital portfolio. And there is an area of the college app, of course, that you can submit other supporting materials. And she was adamant about having a spot for that because it does capture so much more than a grade and a test score for her. So it's always validating when you hear it from students.
Yeah, I asked my daughter, who's a senior, about it, and she told me she didn't have one. So, it's all relative. The last piece I want to say is the attention to the individual. So, project success, the advisory, the ability to know every kid, the ability to tailor work for kids. We bend over backwards to give kids the ability to experience school and be successful in school. That is unique. We do it so well, we don't get credit for it. Other places do not do that. So it infuriates me when I hear nonsense about our high school, because it is a special place. It's led by special people, and our teachers and our staff love kids. And I love this presentation. I always save it for last because I always learn something new, and always have a new idea from learning something new. So sorry,
Gotta love
but
the new ideas.
And I'll leave it at that. Questions from the board?
Well, I was just going to mention something about project success, but Dr. Nagler said it much more eloquently than I could, but I think it's wonderful. I do have a question. What is construction?
Construction. So that came from Deanna Policino, who's a senior, as part of her Girl Scouts Golden Award. She kind of approached me and said, you know, can we do this? Can we put this club together? And of course, I hadn't heard of it, and but when she explained it, I couldn't have been more supportive of it. It's basically using cans to construct something. So the theme of hers was it was making hunger disappear, and she created with her team, and she got all the students, and Miss Edwards was her mentor, and Miss Edwards' husband happens to be an engineer, so you can have an engineer as a mentor too, so he participated, and she made this beautiful hat with a rabbit coming out of it as her theme, and it was displayed at the RXR Plaza in Uniondale, along with professionals like engineering companies. H2M had a ice cream sundae exhibit there, so it was really wonderful. So.
Thank you. And thank all of you.
Go ahead, Mogi, I know you.
I could talk about every slide, but I promise you I will not. This is what I mean when I was saying about being so thankful to be on this board and to be part of this district. Because to me, the high school is our culmination. This is where it's all leading to, everything we do from Hampton and Meadow and Jackson and the middle school. To see all this work and to know how much our kids are cared for and respected, and I think in a lot of places the students are not respected, and I think the fact that our students are known and respected by everybody in that building that they need to come in contact with is a tremendous accomplishment, and I think we do it so well that we don't even give ourselves credit for it. So I'm really pleased tonight. I will just say the things that make me the most happy, and I have some ideas too after this, but the portfolios, I am a huge proponent of portfolios, and I think that it is so important for students to reflect back on their own achievements and on their own work and to see what they've accomplished. I think that's a wonderful thing, and it helps so much when they go out into the world. The dual enrollment really makes my heart sing, because I think that gives students such wonderful ideas, like realistic ideas of college, and especially when they can do a semester on a campus. I think that sets them up for all kinds of success. The mental health components and the SEL components this year, I think with everything else going on, this is like the one thing that can make or break a kid. And so that's really important for me. And then that number that always jumps out at me for the graduation rates for the L's, from 55% to 92%. That jump and that kind of scaffolding in terms of who we hire to teach them and what language we teach them in and everything else. There are not enough words for great job in the dictionary. Thank you.
I agree. We know, because we sit on the board and we have children in the schools, we know what an amazing job, and to hear people read a number and just get sidetracked and everything else. And and I hope people are tuning in to hear all of the wonderful things that you're all providing for our students and that the teachers provide for our students, that our students are doing. You know, they're advocating for themselves, you know. I mean, adding these digital portfolios to college applications, I mean, how many districts, how many neighboring districts even are not doing that, you know, and that sets our students apart, not us, but our students apart, you know, and that is just being grateful, like Mogi said. You know, the numbers are numbers, like they were real numbers. You can't fudge real numbers, you know. It's the AP rates and, you know, these things that our students are awarded. So thank you very much.
And I'll just say thank you too. I'm excited. I have one coming up to you next year, so it sounds very exciting.
We're ready.
I don't know, it might be.
A lot of people say that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can't wait to read the book.
Yes, thank you for the book.
Yes, thank you.
That is my report for this evening.
Thank you. It was a good one. It's worth keeping for last. And now it is time for public comments. Does anyone want to come up? We ask you to come up to the mic and make your comments, please. Come on up. I don't think there's a big rush.
Ted Jeremenko, Bell Place. This is our third meeting. I think I was aware of what I'm here. The other father doing this with spoke last time, so we're taking turns. Since last month, we have continued our efforts to reach out to the community. We have garnered more signatures, and like you said last week, take to read this message, and that'll be it. This letter represents a number of Mineola residents whose children attend schools within the school district. Our statement is simple. If Mineola schools mandate a COVID-19 vaccine in order for our children to attend classes, we will not support it. We are not anti-vaccine, nor are we opposed to those who wish to have the COVID-19 vaccine. We are hardworking Americans who love our country and the freedom that this country provides and protects. This letter bears the signatures of parents from this village that agree with the above statement. Each parent has their own reasons and beliefs that support their decision, though this is not the platform to debate those reasons. Instead, we are choosing to unify by making a simple statement and standing together as is our right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming again. We appreciate you. We appreciate your interest and your actually coming to the meeting to tell us.
Again, I'll be a little redundant with this. Just 2 points. I would never recommend that the school, nor do I think I can recommend that the school district mandate children to receive a vaccine. Personally, I don't believe the state will do that. As I said before, in my personal opinion, I don't have any inside knowledge on it. I just think the unintended consequences that come from that will overwhelm the system, not just ours, across the state. I can share that I didn't receive any official notification, but the governor did tweet. I guess that's a form of official nowadays a tweet is a. She did claim that the because her mask mandate was through next week, but she did tweet that she's going to continue that until after the holidays, and if there were no spikes, she would entertain optional masks. So I don't know what that means after the holidays. I don't know if that's January 1st, if that's January 30th, but there were many questions to her about her position going forward, so I guess the tweet spelled that out. But that's separate and apart from any kind of vaccine mandate. I haven't heard anything about that. Obviously, it's available. They want children to avail them, parents and children to avail themselves to it, but I have not heard anything about a mandate. So appreciate the comment and getting the signatures. Data is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the more we know people's positions, the better we're informed to make decisions. So we definitely appreciate that. That's all I have.
Anybody else? Anyone else want to say anything? Do we need an executive session?
I am in need of executive session to discuss negotiations.
Can I have a motion?
I'll go.
Everybody, okay.
We're excited to say.
Linda? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now they don't want to say anything. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all and happy Thanksgiving.
We could have done better if we recorded.
No, we could not have.
That was pretty funny.